Quickly now. Gather round the fire lest the shadows get you. The group made their way towards Eleum, but like always, the darkness would not allow this to be a simple task. They were forced to fight a creature that one might have called a bear at some point, but now it was molded and twisted by evil. They dispatched the creature and continued onward towards Eleum, where they found the body of Grigori, just as Brother Ulrich had seen in his dream. They approached, cautious yet hopeful, and when Brother Ulrich reached in to retrieve the ember, something remarkable happened. He was bathed in golden light, straight from the heavens. Could this be the sign they were looking for? Could the gods really still be present and watching over? Let us rejoin them and see what they discover.
We find ourselves in the ruins of Eleum, but in the remains of your old ally, Grigori, you found a spark of hope, a kind of ember that Brother Ulrich can use. Where you have to go now is less clear, but I know Randall planning to take the party to some old ruins of his peoples, a type of astrolabe or star chart that you might be able to use to find out more about this eclipse.
I think before we leave Eleum, I think Lucien will do two things. The first is he's going to dig through his bag, and seeing this and seeing like the light around Brother Ulrich recede, he'll take out the axe he took from Grigori's body, and lay it down next to him, sort of almost like apologizing, right? He ransacked this guy's body and took his armor and his shield and his weapon and kind of lays it down reverently, without really saying much, and then turns to you guys and says, I should like to visit my house, my home, briefly before we leave. This is the first chance I've had to return to Eleum since everything that happened. If you would all be amenable to that.
Of course. Does it stand still in this place?
It's on the far side of town. I'm not sure. I believe it is, from what I saw when we entered. But I will be brief. I will not hold us up. Now that we have the light, we should probably move quickly.
Like, Torgog doesn't want to get apart from the group, but he does want to take a second to look at Grigori's body. I know it's been stripped for armor and weapons in a very, practical way, but what I'm looking for are things that wouldn't be practical. Rings, jewelry, pendants, love letters, I don't know, anything I can kind of find that the man would have brought as potentially a memento.
Yeah, a letter to his wife and kids, talking about how he can't wait to come home from this latest adventure.
God, did not know he was married.
No, that is a good question.
I don't know if I said this, but in my headcanon for him when we were doing our intro, he had a group a little prior to meeting up with you guys that he just wasn't with at the time, but you might find a pin or some sort of crest of what his group was, which I can think of, but he would have had that with him sort of tucked away, which I don't think Lucien would have. He would have had no need to take that, but he would have probably shared with you guys that he had that on him.
It's a Hero Alliance ring.
It's a Hero Alliance ring.
Yes, Torgog's going to approach the pin, silently mumble some words in Giant. And he's essentially, if anyone's, I don't recall if anyone in this group speaks Giant, but Torgog's asking for permission from Grigori to take the pin. And after a moment, he decides he's satisfied with the answer, and he removes the pin respectfully from the body, folds it into a black, almost like velvet-looking cloth, tucks it into his bag, and turns around to make his way to Lucien's home.
All right, Lucien, you approach the now dilapidated, somewhat overgrown ruins of your old home, the one you haven't been back to since the night that your wife died. Probably pause for a moment because with your daughter being taken that same night, you never probably had a chance to give her a burial of any kind.
Yeah, I think he'll hesitate and then sort of walk up to the door, and you guys really hear like the weight of his footsteps, like he's like really struggling to bring himself to open it, and then opens it really kind of slowly, almost reluctant to see that he left her there in the chaos of what was going on in the village, and then scans to see if she is still there by their like bed. Like that's kind of where he brought her in when she got injured and laid her down with the intent of coming back, is that she would have still been in the bed.
Yes, her body is still there.
He'll turn to the group, just kind of look over his shoulder and just say, I need just a moment. And he'll walk in and start to like take his gloves off, take some of it, like his helmet off as he turns away, and really take his time to like wrap her up in their like sheets, make sure she's covered, finds like her favorite book that she would read to their daughter and like wraps that up with her so she's buried with it.
There is something peculiar and immediately apparent that you note as you go to wrap her body up and see her again for the first time since that night. She has not decomposed at all since that night, nor has she gone empty.
He like touches her face, sort of like touches his own face and then touches her face, again back to everybody, sort of confused. And he's going to, I'm going to flavor this. I can cast Detect Magic once per day for free, but I would flavor this as like he is so single-minded in his approach to the darkness and it being this pervasive force. He just sort of opens his mind to see if its influence is in this room and affecting her in some way. So I'm going to cast Detect Magic on her to see if it's like magic influencing her or what it is.
There's no ambient magic around, and she isn't emanating any magic either. But her wedding ring is.
I will gently take it off of her finger and get a closer look at it. I assume it's the one I gave her.
Yeah, and it slides right off easily. Her flesh like marble.
Interesting. Lucien he'll pull out a necklace, and he has his ring on like a chain already. So he like unhooks it and adds her ring and then puts it on and sort of like holds it close to his chest, unsure of what it means and scared to say anything because this is strange for him. And then he'll very quickly, before he turns back to everybody, put his gloves back on and put his helmet back on so his face is covered, and start to walk back out, not picking her up this time and saying, I'm not sure if any of you have any experience with this sort of thing or what your level of knowledge is around the darkness, but I would ask you all for some assistance if you would come inside for a moment. And he'll sort of gesture for you guys to come inside his little house. And then he'll look at you guys and say, like I would imagine he put a blanket over her. He said, it's been a year and we all know the effects of death on the body, especially out here in the darkness. And as he pulls the sheet back, you guys see she's not aged or decomposed. And he looks to you guys sort of pleading, like, I don't understand how this could be or what this means. She's not aged, she's not decomposed. It doesn't look like she's been affected by the darkness at all.
Ulrich feels eyes peering into the back of him, looking for answers.
Returns to Torgod. Why are you looking at me like that?
Do you think it could be related to the flower ember that Grigori left? Do you think it has the ability to ward off the darkness?
Work for Grigori. I'm wondering how it would have affected her from where she was.
Well, Grigori's body was fully decomposed. He was a skeleton, so it didn't do this, right?
Mike, this was the site of an absolute slaughter a year ago. Are there other bodies around that I can compare it with? Like, how come this one's not decomposed and this one is, sort of thing?
The only bits that are still left are body parts and those who were completely dismembered, essentially. With the exception of Grigori, every other intact body presumably got up and walked away.
Okay.
Forgive me if I don't mean to be blunt, but where was her mortal wound?
He'll show you, he'll like pull the sheet down a little bit, and you would see like on her clothes, there's like a dark blood stain that was located like at the center of her stomach. Like she looked like she got like impaled. And he sort of, you see him like kind of start to stumble for words as he remembers how it happened. She was pierced through the stomach, straight out the back. This is where her injury was.
Do you mind if and I sort of gesture towards her body.
But yeah, I mean, by all means, I'm at a loss. So if you have any insight, Don Warden, it would be greatly appreciated. Do what you need to.
And Ulrich will nod and just same thing. Like he'll kneel beside the body and take the gloves off and make sure that his hands are clean, but he'll start to just examine the wound itself to see if there's... Because, I mean, I think Ulrich would have had to deal with a lot of dead bodies and do a lot of funerals, and I think there's a good bit of death that he has seen. Like, is there a chance I can roll medicine to see if this is, like, Arcana, to see if she was, like, naturally preserved?
Give me a medicine check.
16.
16. I mean, it definitely doesn't look like natural preservation. But, you know, Lucien has confirmed that there was no magic emanating from her. You can take a good look at the wound, both entrance and exit. It is a single wound that seems to be angled up. It pierces just under the ribs, goes up, and comes out the back at an angle that would suggest she was pierced through the heart. The weapon itself appears to be a very sharp, single-edged blade with a slight curve. Let me get history checks from everybody for funsies.
For funsies? That's my favorite way to do it.
For funsies.
Oh, who got the nat 20? Who was that?
Ooh.
Torgog?
Torgog rolled a nat 20. He doesn't know a lot of history, but he knows a lot of history about sharp blades.
He knows swords. Yeah, hell yeah.
He puts his sword in the wound, like, nope, not this one.
Not this sword. Not this sword. Jesus Christ.
And which hole does the square peg go into? That's right, the sword peg.
Lucien's just losing it. What are you doing?
Man, even though technically Randall rolled higher, I'm going to give it to Torgog for the nat 20.
Naturally.
Yeah, Torgog, you know weapons rather well, rather intimately. You have seen blades like that before, just recently, too. The woman who stuck her head into the tavern had 2 blades that perfectly matched that description strapped across her back.
Torgog's, after taking a moment to look at the body, turns to the whole group, not Lucien in particular. He's not saying this to Lucien, but he's not hiding it from him either. And he says, the blade. I've seen it recently, very recently. The woman with the tattoos at the bar. And she wielded a blade that would likely have caused this accident, this injury.
As Torgog says that, Randall would just turn and say, surely she wasn't the one that did this. It would have happened a year ago.
Perhaps, but it seems to me a man capable of possessing a dozen or more people in a tavern and making them kill themselves would provoke a certain kind of loyalty amongst people who don't care for life, don't you agree? I could easily see her traveling with him for a year. Like, as I scan through my memory of a blade, I'm assuming I've never really seen examples of what, like this, the same blade that the woman was using. I'm assuming it's not like a popular weapon that, say, an army would have been issued or anything like that.
No, she was carrying essentially 2 short swords. Whereas most armies, you're going to be equipped with 1 long sword and your polearm. Unless you're an archer, in which case, a long sword and your longbow.
Well, I appreciate the insight, Torgog. It appears we have to find that woman for more than one reason. She clearly knew something with the man that tried to frame us for all of those deaths in the tavern, and now it appears she might have been responsible for killing my wife, in which case I owe her a death as well.
Indeed you do. And I think it's overwhelmingly likely that anywhere we find the man, we will find her as well.
I think you're right.
I assume you've never seen her before that night, 2 nights ago. One night ago.
No, during that night I didn't see the injury that the attack that claimed my wife. We had split up to try to find my daughter, and when I had returned, she was already succumbing to her wound. I did not see it occur.
I'm sorry you had to learn of it this way, for whatever comfort it brings, and I know it's meager. This wound would have instantly killed her. Your wife did not suffer.
Lucien, I can have a personal question for you.
Yes.
Is there a reason that you think your wife might have been targeted by this woman? I mean, I know we saw skeletons, and then your daughter was kidnapped. I mean, is there something special about them? I mean, I don't know. That just seems intentional. We saw just monsters overrunning this village.
You see, I mean, it's hard because he has his helmet and his visor down, so you don't see his face as he's like thinking intently, but you can see in his body language he sort of like straightens up and like tenses up, like he's really trying hard to like think about everything up until this point, and turns to Bip and says, "I say this with all my love for her and my daughter, but we were nobody. I was a farmer. The most I've seen of anything divine has come from Brother Ulrich. Even the powers I wield, I have no explanation for it. I do not know. I am set on my path, and that's when these things started." And you'll see kind of gestures, and he just sort of squeezes his fist hard, and it starts to glow with that divine smite magic, because I can smite with a punch in 2024, baby. And you see his hands start to glow, and this occurred when I set myself on my path to find my daughter. But up until that point, we were just simple farmers, happy to try to make Eleum a new settlement. We We didn't have anything to our name but each other.
I'm sure she had I know they both have infant value to you, regardless of some magical thing.
They do. I will give her a proper goodbye before we leave.
And he'll start to wrap her up, and you guys can see his hand sort of like shaking now with his gauntlets on. But wraps her up and carries her outside, and then we'll start to prepare a funeral pyre because he's afraid she's going to come back. And this is how people out in the scattered settlements and stuff deal with people dying and not wanting to come back as a hollow. So he'll set up a pyre, and then once it's set, he'll rest her on it and take out a torch and hold the rings on his chain in his hand and say a prayer, which I don't think is common for him to do. Not to any particular god, but to this sense of, I think to this sense of like right and justice and everything that he's trying to achieve in finding his daughter. And he just sort of mumbles to himself about wanting to set things right. And then he lights the pyre.
The flames burn around her, but she does not.
Mike, what am I going to do? Carry the body with me? And I sling her over my shoulder. I don't know what to do.
Alright, here we go.
Cram her in the bag of holding and let's go.
Yeah, if only we had
Yeah, do we have a bag?
He looks at it and he like, you see him like drop the torch, and he turns to you guys again and he says, "This is beyond me. I don't know what to do. What the flames won't touch her. I have no way of giving her the burial she deserves. I don't know what to do.
May I try?
Please."
Ulrich will step towards the fire that's still, like, I'm sure, smoldering with her, and I will retrieve the ember, the lantern. Just hold it near her to see if it reacts in any way.
It glows a little bit brighter. Now, as a religious man, you've heard of something similar to this. It's happened only a few times in written scripture, but the most famous example you would know would be the righteous king Jeremiah, who, after his death, supposedly received a divine blessing that perpetually preserved his body. There's rumors that his body is still on display if you can make your way to the old castle, the old seat of the human kingdom. And it has remained untouched, the same as the day he died, for nearly 1,000 years.
We don't know why he was chosen to be preserved or anything like that, right?
Because of his righteousness. Hence why they called him the righteous king, Jeremiah.
Ah.
Righteous like good, but not righteous like righteous.
Righteous.
No, he also could do sick fucking
Just kickflips all the time. He's fucking righteous.
Come on.
He used to hang out with Patrick Swayze, surfing,
Oh man,
doing crime.
that's it. Yeah,
Wow.
under my wife's bed is like a really sick surfboard and like a map to Mexico.
He once fired a gun into the air 9 times while screaming, "Arg!"
I fucking love that scene.
What about 2 guns in the air firing all over? Lucien, I've a few others who anything like this has happened to. One being the righteous King Jeremiah, been preserved for a very long time, and I can only assume it's because of, well, what was the most noble thing about your wife?
As you're talking, he's just gonna reach in and pull her out of the pyre and rest her on the ground and look at her, and you can hear his voice inside his helmet trembling. She was the kindest person I've ever known. Infallible in her kindness towards others. She taught me the meaning of kindness. If you say she's been given a blessing similar to that of
King Jeremiah. And he looks at her and then hangs his head and looks back at you and says, I could think of no one more deserving than her.
Seems like sometimes the gods would choose those who walk among us to be examples of the tenets we should follow, and Jeremiah for his righteousness, and most likely your wife's kindness. I do not foresee her becoming an empty or defiled in any way. She was a very special woman, Lucien.
Thank you for your words, Brother Ulrich. I think maybe you're right, and I will do my best to give her a place to rest that others will recognize as important as any king of the past. And I'll start to make like this shoddy makeshift tomb of dirt and rocks and things. And I'll use my last spell slot to help me with, there's a spell called Conjure Cover. And I'll use that to like just create like a elevated space of earth and then sort of encompass her inside of it because he doesn't want her exposed. And just do his best to create this little tomb for her. And then rest his hand on it and say his goodbyes. We should go. Randall, can you point us in the right direction to perhaps your people? I think the star chart would be the best next step for us.
Yes, I can take us on the path, the one that I know of. Although I've never taken it myself, so it may take me a while to orient properly.
So you're going to try and chart the way to the old ruins?
Yeah. I know, like I said, I know it would have been something Randall's known about as one of like the more dangerous pilgrimages that kind of solidify your standing as an archdruid if you can make it. But having, with the separation he's had for the tribe, he himself has never gone on that journey. So the way he knows has been passed down to him, but he's never actually taken it.
Okay. Give me a survival check, Randall.
Not when I needed that.
Can I turn that into an 8 at least? So it'd be a 14 total.
Turn it into a 1, Matt.
Yeah, can I turn that into a 1 just so he utterly fails?
Actually, I think I have the lucky feat. So when you roll a d20 for a d20 test, you can spend 1 luck point to give yourself advantage.
All right.
I believe I will do that. Let me roll that again.
That's a lot better.
There we go.
21.
Okay, that's way better. There we go.
Yeah, you need to sit down and actually look at the map and cross-reference it with some of your notes that you've taken from the other druids and archdruid. And it takes you probably an hour or two, but you are able to successfully chart what you believe to be the best choice, the best path there. It's going to take you through the remainder of the woods and into the plains to the northeast.
As we start walking, I think Lucien will ask Randall about where we're going, because I don't think he would know anything about this, let alone this path. But I believe above table, Todd, you said Randall had said he hadn't gone there, right? Or do we know that? Do the characters know that he hasn't made his way back? Has that been shared?
He wouldn't have ever really talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Even the party that was there a year ago with him, at that time he was just now, like at that time, beginning to really involve himself with the tribe in a real way. So I don't think he would have discussed it openly.
Okay, cool. Then Lucien will walk up to you. I think sort of trying to keep his mind busy and off of what was going on with Eleum and his wife. Randall, if you don't mind, I was wondering if you could tell me what we could expect at this place with your people. Are there any customs, anything we should be wary of in our approach?
You mean the star charts? Well, I suppose there are a few customs that those who go typically observe. There's meditation, of course, and to be honest with you, I've never been myself, but I'm led to believe from my research and the tales passed down that once one arrives, you are to map out the constellation or star map you wish to study or wish to meditate under, and from what I understand, something will happen, typically mythical or magical in nature. I don't know how much you know of my people. Have you heard of the Noguisi before?
Lucien will turn and look at you, and he'll say, based on how little you know, I think we know about the same about your people. And he'll sort of like look at you confused, like, have you not been to your... Is this... I'm afraid I don't know much about the Noguisi, but I do know this is your homeland, is it not? You all... This is where your people have their archdruids, as much as I know. You've never been, though. Is this sort of like a trial for you, then?
You are correct. I've never been. I myself am not an archdruid. My father made the journey once, long ago, during his trials. Yes, it's not often many of my people actually make the journey. You see, with the dangers of the woods, it's a rather dangerous journey itself. Few that make it even return, but it is quintessential in the ascension to becoming an archdruid. In fact, the trial you go through there is known as the ascension. I suppose I should have made it years ago, had I not separated myself and run away in rebellion as a youth, but I'm making the journey now.
Would it... I'm not sure the stipulations of the trial, but would it benefit your people if we marked out a path so that they would have a better chance of making it there? Or is the danger part of the trial? I just think that, and he sort of gestures around, because we're far out now, and probably further than most people will willingly go, and say, I've had thoughts as we've traveled that we should be marking stops, landmarks, things that people will be able to recognize, so that maybe we're able to branch out into the darkness further and reclaim some of this land. But I don't want to step on your customs, your people's customs. Would it benefit mapping this part out? Would it be against the trial rules? I'm not sure how it works.
I can't imagine it would be against anything per se, but there is... How should I put it? A certain achievement one is given once they make this trial. I guess you could say danger is part of it. You are right, this is the ancestral homeland of my people, and before we found ourselves sequestered to the city, it was well known and well traveled, well used. I suppose you could say the tribe uses this trial, the danger, and the potential of not returning as a way of redeeming those souls who are meant to be archdruids from the way our people lost ourselves long ago. Trapped inside a city where even if the lights could shine, they'd be bled out by the light. It's unnatural for them to live there, but the only reason our tribe even exists still is the safety of the city, so I suppose I've never thought of it that way. I've never seen it in the research or in the things I've done to reintegrate myself, but there is a poetic justice in the danger. I don't think it's my place to take that away.
Perhaps you're right.
And the price to be paid for failing the trial, then, am I to assume it's death?
Well, none that have failed the trial have ever returned. Only those who have passed, so I suspect there's a good chance we could find a fair amount of empties there. Failed acolytes, or potential archdruids that never made it. The truth is, no one knows what happens to them, honestly.
We have trials in my village as well. They most certainly result in death if you don't pass. Perhaps that's a story for another day.
A trial resulting in death in a world so filled with it seems, I don't know, sad to me.
It hasn't always been our custom. My grandfather implemented it when the darkness fell. We were more cooperative people before that. At any rate, I'm curious, Randall, do you know how many days' travel it would be, assuming we have to remain on foot?
Would because we're not leaving from the city, which is where the trial would usually start. So, would I know from where I'm at in Eleum approximately how many days?
About a week from where you are, depending on pace, between 5 and 7 days.
Randall, when you ask that, Randall he'll kind of go silent, and you'll see him gesturing in the air as if he's doing a math problem. He said, 5, 7 days at a steady pace. Not too long, I suppose.
7 days is more than I've ever survived in the darkness before. But, armed as we are and composited as we are, I feel good about our chances.
And as I've said, I've never made the journey myself. This is all based on what I've been told and my understanding of the distance to be calculated in the woods. I could be off. It could be 3. It could be 10.
Seems very imprecise. Lucien just starts walking like, no idea.
Interesting. Well, we better start if it's going to be, 1 to 20 days, I guess.
We should just be planning for a month just to give us like some length on either side.
The range keeps growing. Just in case.
Lucien, you mentioned mapping. Do you have those skills? Are you a map maker?
No, mapping. The most I've known of it is just how to get around the near surrounding area of Eleum. I can read one, but he turns to Randall. He kind of tips his head a little bit and says, "I do not have the skills that Randall possesses. If he's able to find these tools and make a chart, and could you imagine what we could accomplish? Could you imagine we could do better than Eleum ever did? We could expand out. We could do more for everyone."
But are any of you then familiar with cartographers' tools? Have you created maps before? Well, I, for one, have pretty good skill with navigation of the maps, but I've never created one on my own. Perhaps this is an opportunity to expand our skill set, as it were.
If you could describe it to me, I'm skilled with the pen. Perhaps if you can narrate to me, I could draw and hopefully make something useful for you.
Well, certainly. And Torgog's going to make a point of, every 30 minutes or so checking in with Ulrich about major landmarks that he notices, that he wants recorded, that sort of thing. He has absolutely no confidence that any kind of a map is going to turn out of this, but he's using it more as like a team building activity than anything else. Keep our minds busy, keep us focused on something. Traveling through a week of the dark is a daunting task, to say the least.
Bip walks up after a bit too long. I can draw maps. And pulls out Pulls out cartography tools. You can write where stuff goes, Ulrich, and starts adding on to Ulrich's map.
Bip, is it true that every map maker puts an Easter egg that identifies that this map is of their design?
I've heard that's the case. I always change up my Easter egg, so it's not consistent, which doesn't really help, but I normally put a little hidden thing in all my maps.
I was going to ask that rather rotund stick figure in the bottom left corner that has the arrow that says "you and your mama." I mean, I was just wondering, was that your Easter egg? I was just curious.
Yeah, I've done that one a couple times, but it's just a good go-to. I want someone to read this map and enjoy it, and get a good laugh out of it.
Your mama doesn't sit around the darkness; she sits around the darkness.
Yeah, sometimes I shade it in and say your mom is the darkness. It's normally your mom joke, but I change it up.
There's really a lot of your mom jokes on here, huh? All it is.
I have a map that's just a mom, very round, and then a map on the inside. See, she is the darkness.
Yeah, I see you've got a real thing for making fun of people's mothers. That's pretty unique.
I find it's funny because I can also, if they try to come back at me, I'll say, "Well, my mom's dead," and I can, what are they going to do?
Problem solved.
Problem solved. I'm invincible.
So, we're just making our way then. As soon as the path is charted, we're taking off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then you head off into the gloom, back into the woods, leaving Eleum behind you, as well as the preserved body of your wife. You head once more into the miasma and start walking. It is a long and lonesome road ahead of you, with no doubt trials awaiting. Let me get a survival check to stick to the path.
What is with this 3?
Oh, not again.
Oof.
Can I make that one an 8?
To make it a 14? Yes, you can. Yeah, the 14's a bit better than 9. So, yeah, you are, reading the map, checking your notes, and you do a pretty good job of staying on the path. You have to stop a few times at, a fork in the road here or there. There's a couple of paths that don't look like paths because they've become so overgrown. But you use landmarks that were told to you in the oral history that you've now written down as notes, and you use them to keep on track. You travel for about 8 hours. At this point, the woods are starting to thin, but the dim glow of the sun is now gone. Darkness has fallen upon you, and you're getting pretty tired.
Time to make camp then, I think. As Lucien looks around and he sees his own trail behind him has just sort of turned from footprints to like dragging his feet. We should probably get some rest at this point.
I agree. I could use some time to compile these notes a little bit better. Maybe we'll have an easier day tomorrow. I do apologize for the mistakes. I'm not as well versed in this trail as I thought I would be.
This is uncharted territory, Randall. I think some mistakes are a given, and I don't think any of us would hold that against you.
Well, should we find a spot?
Yes, I think we should. It's very likely we'll be able to avoid too much trouble in the woods, but perhaps a clearing where we could at least see things coming towards us. Torgog begins taking very ever so minor detours, just poking his head around each little kind of nook and cranny to try and find some form of a clearing in the woods where we maybe have a bit more visibility.
Give me a perception check.
I will do that.
Nice.
Nice.
Dirty 20.
Yeah, you will find a small clearing with almost like a meadow, with like a pond in the center.
I'm going to look to the group and say, well, far be it from me to claim luxury, but I think this is as good as we're going to do tonight.
I think you're right. This is a good spot for us, and I'll start to lay out my stuff, and then say we should probably come up with a watch, in order like we did back. I can take last watch this time around. I didn't have to do a watch last time, and I don't need as much sleep or rest as the rest of you, I think. So I'm happy to take the final watch, which should give someone a full 8 hours of rest.
Lucien, would you remove your helm for me one more time?
He hesitates and then starts to bring his hands to his helmet and then brings them back down and looks at you and says, I'm sort of still reeling from saying goodbye to my wife, and I'm ashamed of... I would appreciate if you would allow me this privacy to keep it on for now.
Of course, your face isn't really honestly that important to me. What is important to me is that in Eleum, when you took it off, you looked terrible. You had bags under your eyes, a larger than, well, without risking hyperbole here, you need the sleep. Why don't you take the last watch, and if whoever's on the last watch can endure staying awake, I think Lucien would benefit from a full night.
I thank you for looking out for me, Torgog. But I will do my part. I will do the final watch. I owe it to you all as I would not have made it this far without you. And he looks around, and I think to that point when Torgog points out how tired he is, you guys can probably see in his just how he's holding himself. He's really feeling the day and saying goodbye to his wife. But I do owe you this, so allow me to repay you, and I will take last watch. And he'll start to set his stuff up, sort of with his back propped up against a tree or something that he can lean against like a log, and just sort of start getting camp ready.
All right. I'm just gonna grab Bip off to the side real fast and be like, I'll be the judge of if he is to rest or not. I'll take the watch before him.
That's probably a smart idea. I don't think he knows how much sleep he really needs.
Would you like to take lead, and then we could have Randall after?
That's perfect. Bip will turn around. I still need to get high, so I will take first watch. And he'll be just like super suspicious about it. Trying to distract. He's trying to give a reason for being first watch instead of just saying it, because he doesn't think that's convincing enough. He thinks it's a big ploy.
Then what's the watch order?
Bip, Randall, Ulrich, Torgog, and Lucien.
Okay. Bip, perception check, please, for your watch.
My gift. A +0. Ooh! Yeah, 19.
Nice.
Bip, you'll hear a splash on the surface of the still water of the pond.
Are we able to see the entire pond? with our light right now, or is there like a portion that's dark at least?
The portion that's furthest away from your light and campfire is dark.
I'm gonna cast Firebolt just above the water and see if that'll shed any light on anything at all. Realistically, I know that probably isn't going to be like super helpful for Bip, but
It's not super helpful. You can see around the middle of the pond like ripples.
Bip is very different from Otis. He's curious, but he's also well aware that he's very weak. Yeah, I think Bip will probably focus on the pond, see if he hears anything else throughout his watch, but not go put himself in harm's way. So probably like turn and focus for the rest of his watch on the pond.
Yeah, as if you intently watch it, about 15 minutes later, you hear it again, but this time you can see it just inside, the radius of the campfire's light. It's a fish jumping out of the water. And then, of course, splashing back in.
From Bip's knowledge, is there like much wildlife out here? Like, would that be surprising? I know we haven't found any like deer or anything like that. So
It is surprising.
he'll probably push forward the timeline and wake Randall, being our nature expert, and just whisper, "There's a fish in the pond. Do you have any thoughts on that?"
Do you have any thoughts?
Randall kind of blink his eyes open. A fish, you say?
Yeah, I could have sworn I saw a fish in the pond, but I didn't really think there was a lot out here. So is that normal?
Well, animals do exist here. I don't particularly know of any fish. What did it say? Did you talk to it?
How rude.
I didn't get its name, but he just kind of ducked down.
Oh, I suppose speaking with animals isn't something you learn in the academies. I guess I can start my watch. If I see it again, I can try and speak with it, I suppose. Did it do anything strange? Or just fish things?
Those fish things, it kind of hopped out and splashed back in a couple times, but from what I saw, it didn't seem out of the ordinary. I just know that's kind of rare, at least.
Right, so why did you wake me early then?
I just thought it was concerning. I just didn't really expect to see a fish. I think it kind of freaked me out. I'll be honest. I don't have a great reason. Just seemed like you would know. Bip's only been outside the one other time. He's like,
Fair enough, my friend.
fish are only in aquariums.
I'll take it from here. You go get some rest. Have you gotten yourself sufficiently buzzed? I believe is a word used for high, right?
Yes, I have. Yes, I'm flying high right now, which is great. That's how I was able to see the fish.
Yes.
Actually. Wake me if you need anything.
I will. I feel like Biff doesn't actually he sleeps with his eyes open because he's always high when he's doing it. So
It's just screaming, just
full on snoring. But,
I don't want to have dreams. My dreams suck.
Cool. I'll just take his watch.
No need for a perception check, because after probably about half an hour, you'll hear the splash as well and see what is clearly a channel catfish hopping out of the water, splashing back in.
Would there be any knowledge on water out in? I mean, with it being like, maybe is it any more dangerous? What's the best way to put it? If we're out in the woods, could we use the water, or is it one of those things that's like, hey, it's best to stay away from, given the nature of the world?
Water is generally just water. Common sense says to boil it just in case, but No, there aren't really a lot of stories of water itself being corrupted by the miasma. They exist, but they're uncommon. And usually they come with, like, from the tales, telltale signs like, oh yes, the water was black as ink. Update, we're all sick.
So I suppose we're seeing this catfish just jump out of the water as it's going about its day, or its night, I suppose. Okay, cool. I will.
Yeah.
I will cast a Speak with Animal, and the next time I see it jump, I will attempt to get its attention.
I just
Hey there. How are you?
Say all but one syllable of the spell, and then when he jumps out of the water, I'm going to say the last syllable.
Just yelling at a motorcyclist as he like zooms past your house.
Hey.
Yeah, so what do you say as it leaps out of the water the next time to get its attention?
See it jump, and I guess King Randall will just say, "Good evening."
What the fuck? Splash.
Yeah, that's about right.
I don't know how well you can hear in the water, but maybe you could swim closer. We could have a conversation.
And you'll see the movement on the surface of the water of a fish swimming closer to the edge of the pond.
Hello, little friend. I suppose I must sound quite muffled. I don't know how else to speak to you. I can't breathe underwater like you can, but it is interesting to see a creature such as yourself. Not many have seen fish very often. How are things for you? How is it out in these waters?
Oh, these are fine waters, my friend. I have lived here nearly all of my life.
I don't suppose you have the same struggles as those on land. You probably don't have to deal with empties like we do.
I do not know what this empty is.
Ah, yes, I suppose you wouldn't, given that you live in water. Imagine, if you would, if you had a bunch of fish who weren't alive and weren't really dead either. And if you got too close to them, they would try to kill you.
Oh, yes, like the great Del Largo.
I'm sorry, the what?
The great Del Largo. The beast of the lake that my people once resided in. Through underground currents, we fled that place and found our way here, where it is safe.
Ah. So, you're saying there's underground connected waterways?
Yes, indeed.
And that is interesting. What are these waterways? Do they connect to every body of water? Could you get to the sea from there?
Oh, this I do not think so, for I am a freshwater fish.
Oh, right, of course. You wouldn't quite make it in the ocean. But that is interesting. Tell me more about this this mythical. You said Ilargo? Is how you said it?
Del Largo, yes.
Ah, Del Largo. Yes.
Our previous home was much bigger than this pond. This pond sustains us, but... Oh, the lake. The lake was a beautiful place. The creature itself was once a fearsome predator. And then one day, it changed. Grew larger, more dangerous. Its appetite ravenous, unending.
I suppose that does sound like an empty. Tell me, the lake your people come from, would you be able to tell me where it is in relation to the directions we use on land?
I do not know of this land of which you speak.
The place above the water. The place where I'm standing now. We call it land.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Yes, I suppose it would be difficult to understand for a fish. Well, I could tell you of where my people come from. To be honest, I'm just kind of bored. I'm supposed to be on watch. I'm afraid I'm not too good at it. My mind wanders, you see. And the thought of speaking with a fish, I've never done that before, so...
Oh, you should try it more often. We are great conversationalists.
It is a little surprising that we can speak so well, especially with the water. I figure the sound would be heavily muffled, but I can understand you perfectly.
Oh yes, our language takes bubbles into account.
True, yes.
Mm.
So, what is your name?
Oh, yes, my name is Randall Lakota. I come from a group of druidic peoples known as the Noguisi. And then from there, he will go on pretty much like a tangent of his people, attempting to explain it to a fish for pretty much the whole duration of his watch.
The fish does a thing where, like, the awkward human who, like, tries to turn away, like, and, like, tries this, but somehow keeps getting pulled back.
It's like slipping back in the water.
You actually, so the great thing about fish is they don't have eyelids, so you can't tell when they're sleeping.
Yeah.
I guess when he gets done saying it, he'll say, yeah, I spent this whole time speaking about my people. I haven't even gotten your name.
Oh, yes. I am Ricky Spanish. And then he'll do a flip out of the water and like a freeze frame with a trumpet stinger sound.
Well, Mr. Spanish, it's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Yes, and it has been speaking with you.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I'm sorry, what? I couldn't hear you through all this water.
You cut out.
You keep cutting out the bubbles.
Sorry, I'm losing
Go
signal.
through a tunnel.
Yeah, well, enjoy the rest of your night then.
Okay, yes, goodbye.
Randall will stand up like, oh, I don't quite realize how long I've been speaking to this fish. And he'll just look around to see if anything's amiss while he's been paying zero attention to anything going on around him.
No, everything's fine. The fire's getting a little low because you haven't been tending to it.
All right. Yeah, he'll go out and find some kindling, maybe a few pieces of firewood he can find, and keep the fire going a little bit longer. Then I guess he'll make his way over to Brother Ulrich for his shift. Just kind of shake him like, Brother Ulrich, it's your shift.
Yes, of course. Anything of note?
No, actually, I spent the better part of my shift speaking with I believe it was a catfish. I didn't realize any of them still existed. It was quite an enlightening conversation.
Interesting. I hold my lantern a little closer to see if his pupils are dilated.
He got into Bip's stash.
They are, but it's actually just the 3 a.m. delirium.
Funny, because I think I was supposed to be waking you up, and Bip was on watch first.
Yes, Bib was on watch. He actually woke me up because of the catfish. It frightened him. He is a little fellow, though, so I could understand, aquatic creatures and...
Catfish are very large. They could probably swallow him whole.
True.
You see Bip slitting the throat of his pillow as he sleeps.
No more words.
Sleep.
Go to sleep.
Over and over again.
Well, Brother Ulrich, it's your shift. Before I let you go, though, I did want to speak with you about something. And he'll pull out this kind of leather-bound, not really a book, it's more like a collection of pages, and he'll thumb through it and he'll say, I'll be honest with you, that the path to this orchard, I've never traveled it myself. This here is a book of star maps. My people have used it to guide Archdruid candidates to this grove. I stole it. It was one of the things I did before I left. That's what I've been using to map our way here. It itself is an ancient, but the star maps it's drawn off of, they are. I don't know if maybe you would have any... I suppose I'm wondering if it might have anything to do with the light we've had from your artifacts. If maybe they're intertwined. I can't help but feeling that the stars have something to do with it. Maybe we'll find answers in the grove, but I wanted to show you this.
I would be honored to look over these. Thank you. As a Dawn Warden, it's hurting to have birth for sure, but being surrounded by the stars it adds another level of comfort as well. Even in the darkness, there's light.
Feel free to look these over. See if anything piques your interest, and he'll kind of go into a small explanation of how the constellations in each star map correlate to different landmarks. Some of them so far Bip has mapped as we've come across them, and that's kind of how he's been pacing himself. And just say, yes, I have a feeling my people's customs and your religion may be intertwined. I don't know the link, but I thought this would be of interest to you.
A worthy endeavor to find that link. I look forward to our conversations.
Yes, same. Good night. I'll see you in the morning.
And Ulrich will kind of build up the fire a little bit before sitting and kind of flipping through the star maps and seeing if anything correlates to anything he's learned as being in the church as well.
Give me a religion check.
That's 4.
Yeah, no, it's kind of too much information for you to take in at one time and collate, But give me a perception check.
Ugh.
That 3 again, Jesus.
Oh, God.
Keep listening for the fish. There's no fish in this lake. I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, so you are too wrapped up in trying to comprehend these star maps and charts. So you don't hear it getting closer. When suddenly something grabs your belt from the back and starts to pull on you.
Oh. Yeah, I think I'll reach for the lantern at my waist and just swing it behind me.
It connects. And you hear a ah of an empty. As you look back, you'll see a small frame, literally just a torso, arms and a head, everything from the waist down gone. Dragged itself here from the bushes and is reaching up and with one hand holding on to your belt. You'll recognize one of the teenagers you saw a year ago in Eleum.
One of the same ones that I killed.
Yes.
I think Ulrich will... I think initially have raised his lantern for another swing just to destroy it. And feels just so guilty, looking this essentially helpless empty in front of him. I think he'll push it off of him and take a couple of steps back. I am sorry. I'm gonna cast Sacred Flame to consume it.
Burn it to death a second time. Might as well.
It good.
Brutal.
Yeah, you whack it once with your mace, and then, see it, take a look at it, and then just burn that motherfucker with holy fire.
Which in Ulrich's mind is like, this is the only way to put these things truly to rest, is to consume the actual body and hope that they find their way to where the gods are. He knows being empty is like a fate worse than even true death. He almost views it as a kindness. But it's not like a huge, all-consuming fire from the heavens. Like, it's just a, but, gentle, almost, of, it's more light than flames, as it just consumes the rest of this empty. And I think he'll take some of the ashes and spread them in the water. I hope you find some measure of peace here. And then fold the papers and put them in his, pocket of his robe, and I think just starts praying for a little bit, especially for Lucian's wife. She would also find rest.
Well, the rest of your watch is uneventful.
There's a Torgog next.
Yes.
I'll gently, hand on his shoulder. Torgog.
Oh, my time then.
Indeed.
Tell me, Ulrich, anything eventful in your watch? Did you perchance see a fish?
I have heard rumor of said fish. I have not beheld it myself. I think it's poppycock.
Yeah, the last time that fish came to the surface, it got talked at for a straight hour. It's not coming back up.
Your armor is more soiled than it was when you went to bed. Is that the sign of battle?
Not quite battle, but putting someone to rest.
He looks over at Lucien, and for a moment, Torgog wonders if you've done something to Lucien's wife, and then he kind of, that doesn't make sense. She's all the way back at the village, and he sort of says, well, empties then, from the woods, I presume.
Just one, and it was one of the teenagers from when I, it was one of the two.
From a year ago?
Yes.
Oh, Ulrich, this might seem tragic to you, but this is fantastic news. I lost a man in the dark a little over a year ago, and I have been looking for him. It's possible he's still around.
What do your people believe about the empties?
Well, I don't believe it's a people or a cultural thing. We see them as zombies. As most do that I've experienced. I don't think there's anything holy or divine about their death, although I have heard people claim that there is. You don't hold that position, do you?
Well, exactly. I think we have seen some glimpses of humanity, even in their state. I think of Lover at the cabin and how they mourned the loss of their companion, and
Exactly.
even this empty who seemed still upset with me. Not a mindless rage, just angry with me. I don't know if they're completely as empty as we think they are.
That's precisely why I asked about my companion from a year ago. I still hold out hope that I will find him. But at any rate, you must be tired. Why don't you retire for the evening? I'll take it from here.
Very well. Thank you. And yeah, Ulrich will lay down and go to sleep.
Mike, I'm betting you're gonna ask for a perception check.
I sure am.
21.
That is pretty good. About halfway through your watch, you hear something. A voice calling out from the darkness. A voice you recognize. A voice you know you can't be hearing.
Does the voice sound like Davian, the man that I've been referring to that I lost in the darkness?
It does. Calling out, Torgog, I hear your voice. I hear your voice. Are you there?
Davian? Torgog's going to make no effort to muffle his voice, to not arouse his team, anything like that. I'm not shouting, but in the same way that if this was like a crowded mall or something, he would be like trying to address a person from a distance, and he would say, Davian, is that you? And he's gonna foolishly approach the voice, kind of against his own better judgment, but thinking that, you know, his head's been filled with stories of empties surviving, and he's going to advance forward.
Torgog, it's me. I'm lost. I can't see anything. I don't know where I am.
You don't need to be afraid of the darkness, Davian. Walk towards my voice.
I'm trying. It's so far away, though.
You can do it. You are perhaps the strongest man I've ever met. Keep walking.
No, I can't. I can't, Torgog. You need to come to me.
I understand. Would I need to... I'm assuming I would need to advance beyond the light of the fire to be able to accomplish this.
You would.
Oh, okay. Torgog will not let... He doesn't feel like this is a good idea, but he will not let his curiosity... maybe that's not how I wanted to word it. He needs to address this. His curiosity is going to get too much for him. So I'm going to walk as far up to what he would sort of perceive as as far as the light of the fire would cast, and then speak out into the darkness again. Davian, am I closer?
Yes, you're closer.
Come to me now.
I can't see.
Davian, for me to advance to you right now would be tantamount to leaving the men behind me to death. And as much as I love you, and I know you love me, you understand that I can't do that. You must be strong.
You have to, Torgog. You have to. You need to pull me out of this darkness.
I'll help you. Davian. Hold on.
Come to me, Torgog. Come to me. Walk to me, Torgog.
Mike, while Torgog is doing this, Lucien technically only needs to meditate for 4 hours. And we joked about it last time that he's watching, but I do think above table he's pretending he's sleeping and is watching intently. I don't think he has any intention of like jumping in on this moment, but like I think he's afraid that if Torgog was to go, he'll die. So he's at least alert that if Torgog steps outside the light, I think he'll get up and like start to make his way over to him, because he doesn't want Torgog to get lost in the... He's been out here enough to know like this is bad news, but I also think he doesn't know Torgog well enough to know that like, oh, this is clearly something for him. I don't like want to embarrass him. I don't know, but like he's at least alert enough that like if he steps outside the perimeter of the light, Lucien's going to beeline it for him.
Torgog's going to hesitate. Quickly walk back towards the fire, grab out a flaming log, and walk back to the direction where he believes Davian is, and toss the flaming log into the fire, still unwilling to advance beyond the boundaries of the light of the camp.
You can dimly see the fire burning on the torch after you throw it, but the miasma, like, it's a tangible darkness. It's like, imagine if shadows were a fog, and it swallows up almost all of the light.
Okay. I hope now I really hope that Lucien is paying attention. Torgog sits down at the edge of the fire, and the shadows, mechanically I'm casting darkness. As the shadows from outside the firelight pull themselves in towards him and consume whatever light the campfire is throwing it and swirl around Torgog. As Torgog then tries to stand up and see through the darkness and see if he can see Davian. This is a Shadow Monk thing where I can burn a key point, cast the darkness spell, and then see through it mechanically, but I'm not mechanically too concerned about casting darkness. I'm more just trying to commune with the dark in some way.
You do that, and Lucien, from your perspective, the darkness just reaches out into the light and swallows Torgog.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted Derek to resolve that. Derek, when you hear you do the darkness, you hear the obvious sound of his armor clanking, as like creaking as he gets up. I think just bolts to his feet, thinking that like the darkness consumed you, not understanding that it came from you. And then just yells out your name as loud as he can, Torgog, and then like starts to make his way towards you, thinking you've been attacked.
Torgog, you hear this distantly, almost like an echo, and slow down.
Torgog!
When you are swallowed by the darkness, you see the silhouette of Davian appear before you. You hear his pained voice as he reaches out to you. Help me. Help me, my love.
Torgog's gonna say, I'm sorry, Davian. I don't want to lose you again. This is your last opportunity to be with me. You must step forward.
I'm trying. You need to meet me halfway.
And I drop the darkness and quickly look back at the camp to see what the source of the armor rattling is towards me. As I see Lucien, I'm going to say, Lucien, there are things in the dark. There are things that want to be here and deserve to be here, but they can't penetrate it. Do you have experience with these things?
Lucien runs to you, and you see him drop his sword, and he sort of just grabs you by the shoulders. Obvious panic and concern for you that you had been claimed for the darkness. Are you all right? Did it take you? Were you taken away? It could have been the same thing that took my daughter. It could have been them. Are you all right?
Yes, none of this matters right now. I am fine. What matters? And I'm gonna stop and like grab Lucien on both shoulders, and to the degree that I can make eye contact through his helm, I'm gonna stare, looking down on him from my 7-foot Goliath frame, and say, listen to me very closely. Look into the dark, but do not move. Do you see him? Davian!
I'll look where he's pointing. I'll look at where Torgog's telling me to look.
Lucien, you don't see anything or hear anything. Torgog, however, you shout Davian's name and you look back, and just on the outer edges of the darkness beyond where you can see, you see 2 floating, glowing green eyes, and you hear Davian's voice laughing. I almost had you.
As I fully dismiss the darkness, push it back just enough to try and reveal the source of the eyes for Lucien.
He sees nothing.
Yeah, I think not seeing anything Lucien would turn to Torgog and look up at him and say, Torgog, I've been out here a long time. You're going to hear everything you want to hear coming back at you from the darkness. Whoever you've lost, whoever you miss, that's who they use to speak to you.
You don't understand. Just hours ago, Ulrich found teenagers from Eleum. He recognized them. I didn't lose Davian more than a few days before that. It's very convincing.
I think he looks to say something, and there's this silence in the air where he's gonna say, like, I'm sure he found those teenagers as hollows. But hearing the pain in Torgog's voice, Lucien recognizes that pain pretty well, and he just sort of pats him on the shoulder and says, maybe there is a chance. I think a chance is all we have out here. Why don't you finish your rest, and I'll complete the watch from here.
He has revealed himself, Lucien. It is not Davian, the voice in the dark. Keep a close watch. Keep the fire lit. If I can sleep, I will. But simply motion to me and I will be at your side.
I will. And then I'll pick up my sword and start to do a perimeter of the camp.
Torgog's used to being probably the bravest person in a room. And he's shook right now. He's not sure he would be able to handle Davian if he did encounter him as an empty. And the whole possibility that he might have needed to do that. Torgog retreats back, finds his spot as close to the fire as he can, wanting no more of the darkness for tonight. And huddles up, protectively, just kind of staring out wherever Lucien goes, just tracking him through the firelight.
I'll do my shift, and I'll wait maybe about halfway through the shift when I feel like everyone's probably fully asleep. And Lucien will make his way to kind of just away from the direct where everyone's huddled around the fire, with his bag, take out his helmet, and then start to, like, you guys won't see this, but start to apply a bunch of stuff to his face. Just try to get his face looking normally. Powder, do a bunch of stuff, i.e. use a disguise kit.
Cucumbers on the eyes.
Yeah. Does like a full facial peel.
Not the retinol.
No one can know what my skincare routine is.
It's a solid line of cucumber.
Yeah, he's got one of the jade rollers. He's like, oh, it feels fucking fantastic, you know? If anyone found out, they would think I'm such a sissy. No, he'll sit and he'll start to take out this old beat up kit of like makeup and stuff, a disguise kit, and start patching over his face to make it look as normal as possible, as healthy as possible, and then complete his watch.
Quick question. Is it like is he trying to cover up the wounds, or is he trying to heal the wounds?
He's not addressing his wounds at all. He leaves the scars very visible. The scars are fine. That's not what he's trying to hide.
Okay. Cool.
Just wants to look healthy, you know? Like he doesn't live in a hellhole. No, he's deliberately trying to hide certain things, certain features, but he doesn't hide the scars or the damage or anything like that.
Okay. But yeah, otherwise you're taking your watch. Give me a perception check, please.
Alrighty. Ooh, that's an 11. You know, I'm gonna burn my inspiration. Why not? You know, I think I can do better than 11.
You cannot. You can do a 7.
I can't do better than 11. I can do worse. That's a 7.
I'm sorry, I can't help you here.
I put my helmet back on and I can't get the visor up. Fuck.
It's like every time you put it up, it falls back down. Like yeah. Lord Helmet from Spaceballs.
It falls back. Yeah, shit.
Skincare products make the singes too slick.
Yeah, exactly.
The shea butters never gets them out.
Yeah, my face is too buttery smooth. My glass skincare routine has worked against me.
So you don't notice the presence of an extra person until you hear the voice. You should give it up, you know.
I wheel around quick. Is it behind me? Like
You don't even have to wheel around. You can just look up across the fire, sitting on a log directly across from you. The man who took your daughter. The man from the tavern.
This was Dumpstat, a D&D podcast hosted by our DM, Mike, with players Derek, Jordan, Matt, Todd, and me, Jeff. Be sure to follow us on social media, and if you like the music and sound effects used, check out the episode description for all the info you need.